The Patriots lose in the present. That's nothing new, but they might have won in the future. This is the Locked On Patriots postcast.
You are Locked On Patriots postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to another edition of the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast, brought to you by LinkedIn. I am your host, Cam Stewart. Patriots, of course, they lose again. They've lost 5 in a row, 41-21. They are downed by the Houston Texans in Foxborough. First win ever for Houston in Foxborough. I don't know if you guys caught that on the broadcast. Houston's a much better team than them, so that's to be expected. But of course, the story was Drake Maye's debut and what you can take from that, and if there is actually hope in Foxborough with number 10 at quarterback. We're going to talk about the debut. We're going to talk a little bit about this Patriots defense and the revelation that I had about it today. And Jalen Polk, he was supposed to be your other impact rookie. Where the heck is he, man? 1 catch today. We'll go over what's been going on with him as well, all coming up on this Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. But of course, the story, you're not surprised by the loss. We were building up all week, though, that it is Drake Maye's time. His first start in the NFL. You've heard Mike Debate doing a great job with Locked On Patriots, talking about it all week. And honestly, I was very impressed. Very impressed by Drake Maye today. You do have something there in terms of hope for Patriots fans. And he actually looked a little bit better than I thought he was going to. I thought coming into this game that you weren't going to see much different from Drake Maye and that Patriots offense from what you saw the Patriots offense under Jacoby Brissett the first few weeks. I mean, I think obviously he has more upside and more arm talent than Jacoby Brissett. But when you look around them, it's like, how do you expect this to be any better? And I got to give it to Drake Maye. He made it look better. 18 of 27, 233, 3 touchdown passes, a couple of picks too. Only one of them was his fault. But he goes for more touchdown passes in game 1 than Jacoby Brissett did all of the first 5 weeks. In fact, it took him 3 quarters to surpass Jacoby Brissett's game high in passing yards and touchdown passes, and he didn't even need the fourth quarter to get there. 20 of 33 for 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's a pretty damn good debut right there. That's kind of what you were expecting if you were like taking the upside of Drake Maye being the number 3 overall pick. I think that's about the best you could ask for. I was expecting it to take a little bit longer to come to fruition. But what you saw today was a Patriots offense that can move the ball, that can score points, that can get into the end zone. And they have a lot of deficiencies around that offense, but you see how much can be changed by having a better, more athletic quarterback out there. And Drake Maye did it a couple of times with his legs, but mostly it was with his arm. I thought he settled into the game really nicely. He had that pick on the second drive. That one was his fault. It was overthrown, a bad interception. But after that, he really eased into the game. He didn't need to use any safety blankets. He found the open man. That first touchdown pass, my God. Oh, the entire 6-state region of New England could not believe their eyes on that 40-yard touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte right before the half. In fact, you could even say it was a Star is Born moment for both guys, but more likely Drake Maye, right? And what impressed me so much, even about that and before that, is the fact that they got the ball back with about a little over a minute left. They ran it to JaMychal Hasty on the first play, and the fans started booing. Because it's like, seriously, you're gonna give this up? And Trent Green on the broadcast actually said something good analysis. He said, if they're gonna do this, the Texans should just call their timeouts and get the ball in good field position right before the half. They're not gonna have much time, but force them to do something. And then the Patriots started going. And at any point this year, they have not trusted Jacoby Brissett in a 2-minute offense. We talked about this a few weeks ago in the postcast. Actually, it was the last game. The last home game against Miami, they went a run and then 2 incomplete passes, and Miami didn't have to use any of their timeouts, get the ball back right before halftime at midfield. They have not trusted a true 2-minute drill for this offense the whole season. But in start number 1 for Drake Maye, they did, and it paid instant dividends. And then a huge play was the pass before. There was an illegal hands to the face after the completion, or on top of the completion, there was an illegal hands to the face penalty on the Texans. That was a humongous play because there were 16 seconds left in the half, and the Patriots had 2 timeouts. Okay? So because of that penalty, they did not have to use the first timeout. And now with 2 at your disposal, you can take a shot down the field. That's exactly what they did. They found a one-on-one matchup on the boundary that absolutely should have favored the Texans 11 times out of 10, right? Derek Stingley on Kayshon Boutte one-on-one, but Boutte makes a nice play to get around him, and Drake Maye drops it in the bucket. You couldn't have placed it any better 40 yards out. And the star is born. And he throws 2 more touchdown passes as well. It was a great announcer jinx in there. The Patriots are the 32nd ranked offense in the red zone in the entire league. Pretty obvious. They're the 32nd ranked offense in the league. Yeah, they're probably pretty bad in the red zone. First and goal. First goal to go situation for Drake Maye of his career with the Patriots. And it's a touchdown to Hunter Henry. Like it took them 42 minutes to get into the red zone. But I think if you watch that, you would say any deficiencies the Patriots had on offense this game was not Drake Maye's fault. Not Drake Maye's fault. Maybe that's giving him too much wiggle room in week number 1 because we all want him to be good. But there was nothing out there that I saw that was like, man, that's Drake Maye's fault. The first pick was bad. The fumble was not great. He should have some more awareness there, but I mean, he's got a guy bearing down on him on his blind side after like a second and a half. The Patriots now have one offensive lineman who started week 1 for them in this game today, just a single one, and he's playing out of position, and Mike Onwenu. So it just goes from bad to worse. And then most of the game, your left tackle is a guy you signed this week. I hate sounding like a broken record. It's the worst offensive line in the league and one of the worst I've ever seen watching football for 20 years. But that just shows you how bad this situation is, how stacked up it is against Drake Maye. And again, the targets, like who does he have? He didn't even have Ramondre Stevenson today. He had to work with Antonio Gibson and JaMychal Hasty. He has to work with Austin Hooper, who tries like hell to make a play and makes it worse. He has that one play where he stays off the ground. It would have been a 1 or 2 yard completion, gets 2 more yards, and then can't help himself, has to fumble the ball, which spots the Texans a short field and gives them, I think 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. But I can't blame this on Drake Maye. He doesn't have a lot around him, and I thought he looked really impressive today, as evidenced by 3 touchdowns, which is more than they had all year. Coming into this one, you have something there. There is hope for the Patriots in the form of Drake Maye. It's not going to come around instantly. It was better this week than I thought it was going to be, but I don't know if he starts winning games for you till towards the end of this season. But it is such a step up from what you had in Jacoby Brissett. And I still didn't think this was a great Alex Van Pelt game, especially when you had to replace your left tackle in there. I mean, the Texans were getting to the quarterback a ton, and still, there is no quick play playbook for Alex Van Pelt. There aren't a lot of plays where it's designed to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. And I'm just amazed by that. You knew what personnel you had at offensive line coming into the season. You knew you didn't have a guy with a gun of an arm in Jacoby Brissett. And even though you do have that with Drake Maye, you've got to get the ball out quickly. That's been the hallmark of a successful Patriots offense forever, and the hallmark of the best quarterbacks in the league. And still, they just think, well, no, our guy will just do 7-step drops. We'll get the protection and get it out there. But Drake Maye, chef's kiss today. Almost as good as you could have imagined for this kind of offense behind this offensive line, and the fact that they were down 2 touchdowns before his second pass attempt of the game. I think he was put in a hole. He did not shrink to the occasion. He came back, he faced that adversity, and looked better each time down the field. I think you have a lot in Drake Maye. You don't have a lot on the defensive side of the ball, which has become more surprising by the week. We'll go through that coming up next on the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. But first, today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. I'm talking to you, Alex Van Pelt, because when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn. It's not like any other job board. It helps you hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even those who might not be searching for a new job but are perfect for your role. In fact, over 70% of LinkedIn users do not visit any other leading job sites in any given month. So if you ain't looking there, you're looking at the wrong spot. And on LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. They know that you guys are wearing so many hats in your small businesses. You don't have the time or resources to hire. That's why 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at BetterHelp. We need plenty of that during the Patriots season. But seriously, therapy has been huge for me in my life. I can't recommend it more to anybody. And if you're looking to start therapy or maybe looking to pick it up again, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon, and use that code LOCKEDON to get 10% off your first month. Another not so glowing performance from this Patriots defense, which really sold us a bag of goods coming into this season. And look, they were an excellent defense last year as well. They have faced some injuries. You traded Judon. You're not going to have Barmore this year. You've had some more debilitating injuries like Juwan Bentley. Kyle Duggar was back today. Jabril Peppers is probably not coming back anytime soon. And from what we know right now, for good reason. But once again, this Patriots defense, you can go up and down the field on these guys, man. If you have a halfway competent quarterback, you don't even need to run the ball against them. And what's surprising to me is Christian Gonzalez has been so good this season. Didn't have his best day today, but not as bad as it might have looked to the naked eye. He did get beat on a touchdown to Stephon Diggs. By the way, oh, good Lord. There have been a lot of bad Patriots games over the last 5 years, but thank God it is not 2 games a year against Stephon Diggs. The dude just loves playing the Patriots. He kills them, man. And specifically since he went to Buffalo, he has just been destroying the Patriots every time. Every time. In fact, in the last 5 seasons, that kind of window that we're talking about, he has dominated them. 6 catches today, 4, 6, 7, 7, 7, 4, 9, 6 touchdowns. He has got 9 touchdowns against them in the last 5 years, including 3 of them in that one game against Buffalo, the Patriots against Buffalo back in that awful 2020 season. He destroys the Patriots. But anyway, I say that Christian Gonzalez has been really good all year, even though it was his best game today. He's been one of the best corners in the league. He's established himself as that, and he still hasn't even played a full season of football. And so when you take that into account, you got to wonder how freaking bad is the rest of this secondary, because you could just dink and dunk all day on him. Just go right down the field in the passing game. No need to run the ball. So how bad is the rest of this defense that it happens to them week after week after week? CJ Stroud, good quarterback. Houston Texans, good team. Don't get me wrong. But gave up 27 in the second half. It's the most points the Texans have ever scored in a road game. Ever. This is season 23. And they have never scored more than 40 points on the road until today, until you face the Patriots. There has not been a team that's worse at home than the Patriots the last few seasons. They hate doing it. They hate playing at home. I don't really get it. It was never like a, real raucous environment the way Arrowhead gets when it gets going, or whatever, name your stadium. But they were always so comfortable and good at home. They were impossible to beat at home. They did pretty well on the road too. But to defend your home field the way the Patriots have the last few seasons is downright embarrassing. It's Pop Warner type stuff. I mean, just terrible. It looks like at times they're, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say they're a special needs team. You can cut that conclusion yourself. They look terrible out there again in coverage. And the first 3 third down opportunities for the Texans, they got first downs every time because the Patriots committed penalties. Now, I will note on that first 4-point play of the game where it was 3rd and goal from the 5, it was an incomplete pass to the back of the end zone. They called a pass interference on Marte Mapu, who was guarding someone who the ball was not thrown to and was clearly jamming within 5 yards. They bring Gene Steratore on, the rules expert, the former ref, who will defend the refs to the death. He's a total union guy, as you should expect. And even on that one, he said, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the pass interference is here. It's within 5 yards. It's not a catchable ball because he's not the intended target. So I'm not sure why it's a pass interference on that guy. So that swings it to 4 points to the Texans' advantage. And then on the final touchdown, the long touchdown run, he would have been out at the 1, or was out at the 1. Like, you could clearly see there's no field between the guy's cleat and where the white chalk is. And Steratore again comes on and goes, yeah, they got this one wrong. How bad does the officiating have to be that Gene Steratore is calling it out twice? And they didn't even bring him on after that totally brutal, blatant missed face mask call to start the third quarter. So I don't know that it makes a difference in the game, but that takes at least 1 touchdown off the board, possibly a second. That does kind of make this game closer if they make the pretty obvious calls, but the Patriots defense did not put them in a position where they deserve to win today. It was the first time in 3 weeks that the Patriots have not been doubled up on total yardage. So round of applause there. They only gave up 368 yards, but again, the last 2 weeks, and you take away the game-winning knee by the Dolphins, they get doubled up on yardage both times. The real problem with this game, obviously, was the turnovers. First one, that's on Drake Maye, sailed that ball, fumble. You can go either way with it. Second interception is a total fluke. It's batted, and then a linebacker absolutely mosses a blocker to get the pick, and Austin Hooper's stupid fumble. So 2 of the touchdowns come when you spot them the ball inside the 35-yard line. You're not going to win anything doing that. It was 4-1 in the turnover battle. And to me, that's a huge difference in the game. It's maybe not the only difference, but how can you tell when you lose by 3 touchdowns? But in terms of the numbers, it looked a little closer today than it has in recent weeks, which is something that is something for the Patriots to hang their hat on. I mentioned the Texans converted their first 3 third downs. They only do 1 of their next 8 after that. And the Patriots, unfortunately, were not better at 3 for 13. But you ran roughly the same amount of plays. It wasn't a total domination in yardage. Yards per play, it wasn't a humongous difference, 1.5 yard difference in favor of the Texans. It really comes down to turnovers and probably the fact that the Patriots only got in the red zone once. But you look at the drops, the boneheaded plays, the miscommunications, they're still there. Specifically, the drops are still there. And I didn't expect the Patriots to go out and win this game today, but their defense did not do them any favors. And so weirdly, the way Drake Maye played today, are we about to see a flip in the next couple of weeks where their offense does give them something, maybe keeps them in games the way Drake Maye played, and their defense does not? It was the exact opposite last year. It was the exact opposite the first 2 or 3 weeks, and it has not been that way the last 3. And that's how you get to 5 losses in a row. But now the way Drake Maye played, it looks like a winnable game next week. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to take a look at where this game turned specifically into the Texans' favor and where is the other rookie. We got to see one great offensive rookie on display. Where was the other one? That's coming up on the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. Today's postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. I'm looking at you, NFL fans. You can start this season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, you can view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you placed your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Let me say that again. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Are the Patriots going to be favorites, maybe slight dogs next week against the Jags? They certainly didn't look like a great team this morning, but they will stay in London and at least have that to their advantage. Once again, FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, we got to do the turntables here, where things turned for the Texans in this one. And to me, it's the first couple plays of that third quarter. I mean, you've got the awesome 40-yard touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte right going into half. You finally see something from this offense from Drake Maye, and you're right in the football game. It's 14-7. As bad as you were playing on offense, specifically the first couple of drives, and then on defense the whole time, it's only 14-7. And then first play from scrimmage, third quarter, I don't know how you missed that face mask. I mean, everyone in the stadium saw it. Everyone in America saw that face mask, except the officials, apparently. They don't throw a flag. And then the next play is a strip sack on Drake Maye. And 2 plays later, the Texans are in the end zone. It's 21-7. It's a massively different ball game. The Patriots don't get it within 14 points again. So it's really there where it turns in the Texans' favor. They rattle off 13 straight after that and win it 41-21. That's where the tables turned for me. And if you want to talk about a performance that could have been better, it's got to be Jalen Polk, man. I mean, we look at Polk as being a guy who should be Drake Maye, one of his top targets, because he's supposed to be wide receiver 1. These guys come into the league together. This is all you can ask for. First round pick, quarterback, second round pick, receiver, and you're rebuilding your offense there. Except for the fact that Jalen Polk has not showed up so far this season. Straight up. I don't know how you could say this has been a success so far. I'm not calling him a bust because, we're not even halfway through season number 1, but he has not shown up for a guy who started every game. 1 catch today on the last play of the game. 1 catch for 4 yards on 4 targets, 10 catches on 25 targets this year. Oof. That's the N'Keal Harry. 10 catches on 25 targets. And you look at the PFF, I mean, the first couple of games, no one was getting more open than Jalen Polk, apparently. And Jacoby Brissett couldn't find him. Bum quarterback. What are you going to do? Last few weeks, he's had the worst separation in the league. Last week, he had the worst separation rate in the entire NFL among qualifying receivers. And so it's like, well, which one is it? Is he getting open or is he not? Is it a game-by-game basis? And now you had a quarterback who was spreading around the football. Shoot, he threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte, and he can't get Jalen Polk the ball because Jalen Polk's not getting open. Is he the player that got open better than almost anyone the first few weeks and still wasn't getting catches? Or is he the player who hasn't gotten open at all the last few weeks and is still not getting catches? That's supposed to be the matchup right now. That's supposed to be the combination. That's supposed to be the 1-2 punch, Drake Maye and Jalen Polk. Drake Maye, at the first time of asking, here he is, league. He's here. Jalen Polk, nowhere to be found. Put him on a milk carton. And that's really too bad because you can't play your other receiver that you drafted this year, Javon Baker. You can't play Tyquan Thornton because he can't get open. You didn't think Kayshon Boutte could get open. That's why he didn't dress hardly any last year. And yet he's much better at getting open than Jalen Polk, your second-round pick, who had as many catches as Austin Hooper and JaMychal Hasty today. Not much to say from Kendrick Bourne. Hunter Henry had 1 big play. And this is going to show just how much this team can't get open. Bob Douglas is the only one who can get open. 6 catches on 9 targets, 92 yards, and a touchdown, 35-yard touchdown. He is the only one on this team that can get open. And his touchdown was a great play by he and Maye. I don't know what Maye did to clear out the middle of that field where the linebackers were, but there was nothing in the middle of the field. And that was the hot route, first option, Demario Douglas slant touchdown. Jalen Polk, though, nowhere to be found. My boss of the Locked On Podcast Network, Zach Blackerby, at the game in a Jalen Polk jersey. So I am blaming that one on him. He bought it today, I believe. I am blaming that one firmly on Zach Blackerby. By the way, one note to end it with. The Red Sox made us so miserable this year, as they have the last 5 years. Same thing with the Patriots. So Alex Spear, who covers the Red Sox, just has to go out and drop this stat on us. And he said Drake Maye joins this list of NFL rookies with 3+ TD passes in their first career start. Holler at me when you hear a good quarterback's name. Will Levis, Trevor Lawrence, Marcus Mariota, Matt McGloin, Josh Freeman, Tony Banks, Todd Maranovich, Ed Rubert, Kevin Sweeney, Dan Marino, Jackie Lee, MC Reynolds. One good quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, can't say that. Will Levis, obviously not. One good quarterback, Dan Marino, threw for 3+ touchdowns in his first career game. Why do you have to do that to us? You know, the Red Sox made us miserable enough. Don't bring that into our lives. We finally have some hope. And here we have people in the Boston media saying, nope, it's not hope. He's actually going to suck if you base it off this list. Come on, man. The Patriots have something here. And I know we thought they had something with Mac Jones those first couple of games and through most of that first season. But this was different. Like, Mac Jones was impressive because he was protecting the ball. He was checking down, making the smart choice, and, throwing the ball away when he needed to. Drake Maye did that. He checked down when he needed to. He threw the ball away when he needed to, and also showed you that he could be a plus player, not a negative player. You know what I mean? He's also hitting open guys. He's throwing touchdown passes. That's where you see some of the intelligence that made Mac Jones so impressive early in his career, with the arm talent that held Mac Jones back. Because Drake Maye has it, Mac Jones never did. It's becoming more and more of a necessity in this league, which sounds weird, but there was a time where you could just be a game manager who could dink and dunk and you'd be fine at quarterback in the NFL. It's not really the case anymore. You need to have both. And Drake Maye showed flashes of both today. Can't wait to get up early before 9 o'clock Central Time next week to watch him do it in London. That's going to wrap things up for the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. Let me know what you thought about Drake Maye and this Patriots performance. Do they have a star in Drake Maye? Drop that down in the comments below, or be sure to tweet at me at RealCamStewart, your host of the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. Thank you so much for making this Locked On Network your first listen today and every day. Tune in tomorrow. Mike Debate will have it all broken down on the Locked On Patriots podcast to show you exactly where Drake Maye did right, where he did wrong in this game. But I want to hear from you guys, both on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be up bright and early next week. Listen to Mike Debate till then, and then we'll get you after Patriots Jags next week in London. We'll be right here on the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast.